We're live. We're live.
W.
But my screen. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't do that. So if I go full screen, this thing just craps itself. Okay. Anyways, we won't go full screen. We'll just go theater screen. Let's see if it's.
You're live. Yeah, I see you.
I'm live, but I'm still trying to get. I want this to go full screen. There we go. And then I go switch to this. That looks better, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Welcome back to the Apache podcast. We brought back our special guest Gumby. We might do this this a little bit more often with each other. So, and then we're going to be covering current events on top of the Ukraine versus Russian conflict as we go. So a lot of news going on this week. Some notable things are, we have heavy military presence in Venezuela. We have Trump meeting, you know, some different world leaders on his about a week long Asia tour. Um, yeah, and then we got Russia testing a nuclear powered weapon. So a lot of good stuff to cover. Yeah, man. What do you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, well, to get back into this, I mean, to tie this back into Ukraine, it seems that he's reaching out to a lot of these countries to solidify his presence in the United States as a peace president. So, I mean, I
Absolutely.
like that on that aspect. Of course, I'd love to get. Although, like I said in the last podcast, I'm a little bit leaning the Russia side, but obviously, I want humans to stop fighting. That would be ultimate the ultimate goal of humanity, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, as he goes to Japan, I'm not sure how this ties in, but I'm sure it does to get influence in the Asian culture in the Asian countries, and then and then he'll have a meeting with Xi Jinping, right, pretty soon,
Yeah. Yeah. I think on Thursday. I believe on
and
Thursday.
then they're moving closer and closer to some trade deal, and then
Some trade deal.
hopefully that will give him some
TikTok.
leverage.
TikTok deal. Yeah.
Yeah, the TikTok and the trade deal. So hopefully that will move them closer to getting leverage, and then we'll be able to stop this Ukraine Russia fight.
Speaking of the trade deal, what do you think of the Canadians coming out with a Reagan ad,
I saw that.
and
Yeah.
then Trump just said, yeah, we're not gonna allow that. So stopped all trade discussions and slapped a tariff on them.
Yeah, I did see the ad. The ad was portraying Reagan as being an absolutely against tariffs when he was
Yeah.
literally
Hmm.
presenting a tariff against I forget which country it was, but I think it was China or
I,
Russia.
I didn't know which country it
It,
was
it's
towards it too.
it was against one of these bigger countries. He was literally implementing a tariff on these countries, stating specific tariffs. Or he wasn't saying that no tariffs ever. He was literally presenting a tariff
Right. Right. Right.
in that statement to the nation. So um, obviously Trump's making a worldwide tariff, so it's a bit different, but it by no means was Reagan ever saying that tariffs are.
I so I have huge respect for Reagan. Probably one of the most well-known conservative president,
Mhm.
in I think in American history as far as conservatism goes. Huge respect. So I think it's in. I know that President Trump had a just had the Canadian guy over what last week, probably either the last week or the week before, very
Mm.
recently, to have the Canadian president over and have a discussion. So for the Canadians to come out with this is saying something, but at the same time, it's you I don't know what were the Canadians trying to achieve with this ad supposedly.
I forget their exact achievement, but I mean, you can look at it and know that they were trying to. Well, I don't know their exact
Are they
goal of it, but
trying to
I can
poke a
infer.
jab at Trump?
yeah, I can infer that they were trying to get some stuff stirred up against Trump. I mean,
Get
it's pretty
some
obvious.
jab in. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it seems pretty elementary, but I guess seems like
yeah.
childish behavior. But okay.
Moving on from Canada. That's just
Yeah.
a so next thing is um all on the deals that he's going around. I believe Trump just signed some mineral deals with M Malaysia, maybe Thailand, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
Several countries,
Thailand, Cambodia. Yeah.
Thailand, Cambodia. Those are some, and I believe he was also the mediatory or signatory between the conflict as well. So he
Mm. Oh yeah.
officially put a stamp of approval of mediating, the conflict between the two. So,
Yeah.
there's that. But when it comes to like mineral deals, so Trump did come out with this was either I believe this was a few weeks ago. The Chinese decided to pretty much lock the United States out of minerals, rare earth minerals,
Mm.
and which is why President Trump had slapped up pretty heavy tariffs on China as well. Of course, in retaliation, directly, retaliation.
Mhm.
Not have. I believe this is not related to the Ukraine-Russian war or anything in that regards.
Mm.
Unlike India, but I think with China, it's due to the fact that the Chinese decided to lock the United States out of rare earth minerals. What do you so I guess what I wanted to ask is me. I'll try to play a understand a non-biased role, but as a Chinese blood individual,
Mhm.
wouldn't it be knowing the U.S. uses, I understand that, you use the minerals for just about everything from,
Mhm.
from computers to medical equipments, as well as to, with drones, aircraft, and weapon systems.
Right.
So I guess with this being said, shouldn't the Chinese being are they trying to why are they trying to lock the United States out of rare earth minerals? Right? Are they trying to withhold military advantage
Mm.
or technological advancements? What do you think? It's
I would have to look into it more. I'm not too familiar with it, but uh, I'm not sure to be honest. If they're if they're it seems if they're trying to lock us out, I mean, they're just trying to gain leverage. If I look back at what China, I mean, they take a lot of our rare stuff. They take a lot of our technology and then they make it themselves.
yeah,
They're kind of
IP. Hmm.
yeah. So once they have it, I mean, why keep get once they have all the rare stuff? It seems naive though if they're so dependent on our technology to lock us out of out of the material we need to advance our technology because it will create more and more distance. Even though they do have good local infrastructure and technology in their country, it's pretty. Have you seen their technology in their company?
I
It's
have.
or in their country.
Hmm.
It's pretty advanced because a lot of their money, I mean, a lot of their taxes get spent on good things actually. So, but
On critical infrastructures,
critical
yeah. Hmm.
technological advanced like modern stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to watch, but yeah, I don't know if they have the minds that America has, and I don't know if I don't think their atmosphere produces the same amount of creativity and minds as America
No,
does.
no,
I don't think it
definitely.
would.
I would
It's kind of a
100%.
product of communism,
It
and
is. It is. It is. I would agree with you 100%. I think that's the one of the bigger difference between like citizens of Chinese versus the citizens of Americans
Mhm.
is is Americans have the ability of free thinking,
Mm.
have the creativity thinking, where Chinese, the Chinese doesn't have the ability to do that. They're more like worker bees. That's why we're known to one of the hardest worker on earth is
Mm.
because once we're given the instruction, that's what we're good at. It's
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and I have to say this very carefully. I do I do believe that there is some level of creativity within China, but
Oh yeah.
I do know that the government itself does suppress creative idea to a degree. This is why
Mm.
you don't that's why you don't have, you know, um,
They have a billion
startups,
people,
a billion
so
people, so they really
it's hard
need
to
to,
manage that.
right,
They need
right.
to, yeah.
They need to manage it at a certain level. They can't just have everybody
Mm.
throwing their ideas out in the world.
Mm.
And even with all the ideas that does gets presented, you also have to know that everything that you know the people in anything that happens within the country, it serves it's almost like it serves at the benefit of the CCP. Does that kind of make sense? Or everything
Mm.
that your idea, whether it's economic, whether it's political, whether it's agriculture, all of that
Mm.
is serves you pretty much serve it to the table of the
Right.
CCPs, and then they are the one that kind of delegates, uh, whether it's whatever policies they decide to implement at that point.
Right. Yeah, and just from what I've been looking at and looking into, I don't think it's an inherently bad thing either. I mean, I just think it's a difference of views. You have to. I don't know how to manage a billion people. I mean, it seems like a lot of work. So I don't know how that would. But besides that, uh, the CCP, yeah, the CCP does manage them quite a bit. And like I said, it's not inherently a bad thing, but the ideas do get suppressed, and that does cost a lot of money because progression, the ability to make things more efficient,
Right,
cheaper,
right.
is a good thing, and it could create. It's such a complicated because I have levels in my mind like good, bad, moral, progression, conservatism. It's like we want to progress at a rate that still empowers the people within the country like that are currently living, but we also want to uplift the future
You're
generations as
you're
well, so it's hard
so
to
you're
manage
talking
that.
about the degree of government control versus the people, right? Is what you're
Well, actually, I was talking about present generation and future generation, but yes,
uh-huh.
that as well. I mean, we noticed in one of our the things that we play that that one of the games that we play, that's how we met, but that there's a we want to give people freedom, but we also have to cooperate with the system as well.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
it's hard. There's so many. It's hard to find a balance, and you kind of have to find that as an individual. That's why it's good to be in America because as an individual, you can choose that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the joy of being able to do that, and probably not so relevant to today, but I say late 1900, or
Mm,
maybe not even late 1900, I don't know, 1950s, all the way
mm,
to early 2000s. I'd say the
mm,
American dream is what everyone heard of, everyone even strives
mm,
for, everyone who heard of this or aware of this so-called American dream,
mm,
wants to come here and live out that American dream, being able to have, being able to, come here, have a successful career, being able to buy a home, um, you know, in that regards. And I think just being able to have the freedom to do that kind of gives the power and the Americans this, I guess, just this idea that, hey, not a whole lot of countries offer this. You look
mm,
around, how many countries allow? I'm not speaking from a terms of owning properties. I'm speaking of the freedom to being able to achieve so-called American dream without, government
mm,
hindrance without oppressions, without whatever that that does block someone from being able to do so. But
Right.
I think that's a pretty good um, I don't know. I don't even today, being in Ukraine, I ask a lot of people, and the American dream isn't as relevant anymore. Not not that because everybody still wants to come to America.
Right.
No matter what, it's a fact, right?
Hmm.
Even I talk. There's people
Well,
that
they
I've
always
talked.
think that it's like a symptom of the grass is
The
always
grass is
greener on
always
the other
greener on the
side.
other side, and they're not okay. Even though I live overseas, that's not entirely wrong. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
obviously, I live in a war zone, and the U.S. isn't in a war zone, and the
Hmm.
U.S. will probably never be in a war zone on its territories. That's just geographical fact.
Unless
Um,
it's internal. Yep.
unless it's internal, which is
Mm.
that's a different game because you can't compare
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
civil war with international.
Right,
But
right.
and I think that in just the ability to have freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of speech already trumps, you know, probably 60 to 80% of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Europe included, and that itself already speaks volume. So
Hmm. Yeah. Should we watch this video?
yeah, let's watch this
Uh,
video. So this is
yeah.
just a this is just a quick video on Trump visiting the Japanese emperor.
We are starting our final hour with a Fox News alert. President Trump
Forget
meeting with
sound.
Japan's emperor earlier this morning after arriving in Tokyo.
It's a
I
second
don't think
stop
I
on
have
Trump's Asia
sound.
trip as he gets ready to meet with China's Xi Jinping later this week.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live from Tokyo with the latest. Peter.
Good morning.
So
Yes,
Trump is
President
to
Trump was
meet
very warmly
President
greeted
Xi
by Japan's
this week.
imperial leader, the emperor, shortly after touching
Nice.
down here in Asia, or rather here in Japan, from his first stop in Asia, in Malaysia. And the president here in Tokyo has a long list of economic and security priorities that he wants to try to address. All of Asia will be watching his every move, but in many ways, an audience of one is the most important. The one the president is going to meet with in South Korea this week, China's Xi.
We're going to have a great talk. I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I like him a lot. He likes me a lot, I believe, and respects me, and I think he respects our country a lot. And I think we're going to have a successful transaction for both countries.
One transaction that's possible, the sale of TikTok from China to a group of American investors. President Trump says he may sign that deal with Xi this week. Then, according to the Treasury Secretary who is traveling with the president, the DC and Beijing based negotiators just need to cross some T's and dot some I's on a significant trade deal.
Have you heard much about the TikTok deal, or do you know much about it?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it. I know Larry Ellison's purchasing it,
Yeah.
and I know.
So
Go
from
ahead.
my understanding, there's gonna be the United States is gonna own the majority of the board structure
Mm,
of TikTok, and uh, and I believe all of the IT and anything security and IT security related and privacy policies are also going to be managed by the United States, and
okay.
which is one of the bigger, I guess, bigger discussion point why this TikTok was, I guess, originally brought up in the first place was you know I guess this you can ask anybody this question is does using TikTok goes the information that's recorded goes back to the CCP. So
Yeah,
what do
they're
you think of
creating.
that? What do you think of that? Do you think that everything that you watch on TikTok goes back to the CCP?
Probably not. No, probably not everything. I think there's been leaks that some of the information is being. I mean, the algorithms are being tracked and the data is being collected. I mean, no doubt. I think just in the nature of communism itself, they would set up some backdoors like that.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's 100%, but just the nature of it being controlled. Like, is TikTok a public? They're a government owned company, right? Or no?
I don't think they're a government owned. Have you seen the, don't quote me, I'm not sure. I think it's just a private group. I do know that they are owned by ByteDance. Before
Mhm.
I don't know the
Chinese state funds. ByteDance main domestic subsidiaries is owned by Chinese state funds
state. It is
through a 1%.
is
Let's see.
ByteDance owned by
Complex
CCP.
multi-layered like ByteDance. Let me see, what is ByteDance?
ByteDance
Multinational.
established a internal Chinese Communist Party committee, so it is part of the CCP. Looks like.
Yeah. So I mean, why would they not? I mean, it's
Well,
like, why would they
every
not?
company works for the CCP essentially in China.
Yeah.
So
It seems like a huge conflict of interest for TikTok to be literally ruling the hearts and minds of young individuals in the country, in the United States, for them to own this and for them to gain the algorithm. I mean, how much do they? And also, it's very weird. It's a good thing that they do this for their country, of course, but it's very weird that they have an algorithm that is only directed towards STEM in China, but
yeah,
then
yeah,
elicits
two
to
very different apps. Two very different apps.
very different. They have big securities. I mean, as does most of their country in China.
They have
Big
the Gray
security
Wall.
restriction.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. They have the gray wall on their China TikTok app, which is not really TikTok. It's just a bunch of creators uh, doing STEM technologies, which is good for the country. It's good,
Good. Yeah.
but it's bad because they're allowing their algorithm for Americans to just absolutely collect. I mean, their algorithm is amazing. It collects them and keeps you on it all day. I mean, I just re-downloaded TikTok, but I trained my algorithm to only show me history. So you can train your algorithm but then your mind stems off and it retrain. See, it's been doing this thing. I just re-downloaded it like a
But
week ago, and then it'll retrain me into this brain dead algorithm.
why do you
that just keeps
why it's not a fault of the user and a fault
no,
of the application? You can't blame the app. I mean, don't use it, obviously.
well, that's easy to say if you're an adult, of course, but for children,
For children,
you're kind of.
well, I mean,
I agree that adults are accountable for their actions,
yeah.
but for children, it's a bit different because I mean that is their main target, right? I mean,
I
what
mean,
adult is sitting on there?
it's an addictive algorithm, depending
Mhm.
on whether you're a
Who has
content
the most malleable minds?
children,
Adults? Who's it going to affect the most?
children,
Children, right?
ch
And who's it
children's.
directed towards? Children. It seems like even
I
Instagram.
I
Instagram's
think
algorithm's not as bad, but
I think
it,
it's
it seems
less towards
overall it just
us.
shows you unproductive
It is. It is. I think it's less
content.
towards us and more towards the next generation.
Why do you
And
think? I mean, just to take a look at Charlie, why do you think he went to these college campuses, even though they're not even
right, 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 right,
they're not
right.
even like in their teens. They're like grown adults, 18
They're
to
college
24
kids.
probably.
Yeah.
But your mind is still very malleable. It's not like somebody who's in their 30s or 40s or 50s who's made up their mind, who doesn't want to go through a big change again. Your mind's still
For
pretty
sure.
malleable
For
from
sure.
18 to 24. You're still developing those, especially political views, which you probably have no. Well, most people probably don't have most experience in the political nature. I know I didn't myself. From
I think there is a sense of like, it's
it's
not
getting more political now, but
not
yeah.
ignorance or not like, not just being aware, but I think,
Mm.
yeah, I think I would agree with you that the media target nowadays is more towards people in their teens, late teens, early 20s,
Mhm.
even mid 20s. But I think that this might be this again, I have to say this very careful. But I believe that this might be a cyber op from the CCP,
Mm.
um, to distract,
Allegedly.
allegedly, to
Oh
distract
yeah,
the next generation, uh,
it might. I
because
wouldn't put it past them.
it is a very powerful tool, and a
Mm.
very powerful weapon. Um, because I mean, the United States itself is probably one of the most successful, when it comes to like creativity and ingenuity. However, when it comes to like, and obviously the individuals have the power to make, to make those changes. But
Mhm.
when you're adding distractions, when you're sticking an iPad or a phone with TikTok or Instagram to a kid, and that's all he or she watches day in day out.
Mhm.
That's all they're gonna, they're not gonna be motivated to be engineers, to be,
Yeah.
to have this creative mind. I mean, I myself fall victim to this very,
Yeah. Same.
to this very technology. Of course, even
It was in.
even watching YouTube, man. Sometimes I go on
Mhm.
YouTube and I'm looking up on how to build a outside fireplace, and then 3 hours later, I ended up learning how to talk to a giraffe. It's
It
you know what I
directs you
mean?
into some, yeah, into some.
You
No,
you look on the
exactly.
links, you just keep going down the rabbit hole, and you don't know
Yeah.
where you end up. Eh,
It goes from, it's an algorithm that goes from making you a producer to making you a consumer.
Absolutely.
It makes it seems that way, and especially that's what I'm going to say this, and I don't say this lightly or sexistly. It not only targets children, but it targets women way more, because women have like 70 to 80% of the consumerism in the United States. They spend most of the unproductive money on products that don't, I mean, that don't amount to anything. They're just kind of materialistic, and they don't stand to do anything else but as like a trophy. I mean, when you get an iPhone, you have a productive device, but if you get a like a watch
Yeah.
or like a bracelet, necklace, earrings, all this nose ring, all this stupid product, in my opinion, then I mean, then it doesn't do anything for you. Then you're a less productive citizen. You have less means to protect the country that you're in, and to spread your and to like have a more creative mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would agree with you. I think that's where yeah, it's weird because at the same time you have a like a self-awareness. Me and you, we're at an age of self-awareness that we understand like, well, I've been on TikTok for the last 4.5 hours. Maybe I should do something productive, right?
Yeah.
But a kid, in their teens or even preteens don't have the ability to be self-aware.
Mhm.
And that's all they're gonna, that might occupy all of, their early youthful years where,
Right.
they learn more about career fields, about histories, about upcoming AI, stuff like that. But now they're consumed on social media vastly, and
Yeah.
you know even I guess as parents you have a duty to rip those phones out of their hands,
Mhm.
and kind of control on the amount of consumption the collectively have. But of course there are people who goes on who does content creating. There are people who goes on and do share, you know very, very creative and
Yeah,
good
educational,
and
creative
educational
content.
content,
Yeah.
and that's how it should be,
Yeah.
mostly. I mean,
It's a
obviously,
minority though,
it's a
unfortunately.
minority. I mean, because it's a money grab as well. I
Yeah.
think it depends on your followers, but yeah, I think that's. Have you seen the video of? I believe it was a U.S. It was a U.S. It was either a senator, congressman, somebody one of the U.S. representative who did like almost like interrogation of the TikTok owner or CEO. I want to see if I can pull that up, but it's about this guy saying over and over, because this guy is a citizen of Singapore.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't.
Oh, this
Maybe
one
I
right
have.
here. This one right here.
So, you said today, as you often say, that you live in Singapore. Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Yeah, I think
Have
I've
you
seen
ever
this.
applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I serve my nation in Singapore.
This is pretty interesting because I understand. I understand, but I also don't understand. Why is this U.S. representative kept trying to find the connections between between a Singaporean and the Chinese CCP? I understand, it's we speak the same language. We speak Mandarin Chinese. But it is obviously two different country. It's almost like saying that the British, this guy, is British and had a connection to, to, I don't know, Mossad or something, or to the Americans, just because you guys speak the same language and have
Was
some
that
sort
his
of.
argument? If that was his argument, it's bad. But I
Here,
didn't
let me
see.
see if I can finish
No,
it.
I did not.
There was no
I can't.
argument. He's the U.S. representative is just trying to find something, and there's nothing sticking.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Your sound's not
Yes, and I
playing
served my military.
Is it
on
not
Google
playing?
Meet. Oh wait, let me.
It should be. It might just be on your side.
Maybe.
Do you have a playback?
Let me see. Look at my settings real quick. Audio speaker. No, well, no. it wouldn't- Should be on your side.
I can pull it up.
Here, I'll watch it.
Okay.
I'll sync it up with you.
Yep.
Or
For
restart.
2.5
Here,
years in
Do you
Singapore.
have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's
Have you-
correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm
Okay.
Singaporean.
So, you said today.
I don't know if you finished watching it, but this guy's just throwing mud and hoping he can stick something on the wall regarding this guy and his connection to the CCP. But it's interesting. So that's the CEO TikTok guy.
sorry, I was just finishing that. What did you say?
He's I don't know. He's trying hard to find something to stick him to the CCP. I don't understand the obsession. However, I do know. Okay. I do and I don't, because I do understand that the parent company of TikTok is ByteDance, but the CEO is Singaporean. So of course there's obviously a conflict of interest in that regards.
Yeah, well, CEO. I mean, I guess they produce the direct, but do CEOs even at this level? Do CEOs even make the direction for their company at this degree, especially for this kind of company that's not so
No.
reliant on a CEO?
I think it's more a board
Kind of runs itself
at that point.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a board.
And
But
is
I
the
mean,
board like made of Chinese?
I don't know.
Probably.
Like actually,
Okay.
do we know?
Parents by now.
Yeah, it goes back to ByteDance for the board, which makes sense. I don't know if there's internal. So yeah,
It
most
seems
people.
like we have.
Yeah.
Most people are Chinese.
There's a little bit of mix of both. but I think it's becoming more. I mean, with the acquisition from the U.S. side.
I do
Um,
see his questioning there, but it's like, why would you not do that? It seems why he's asking questions that he already knows he's asking rhetorical questions that he knows the answer to probably,
it's
and that he probably knows it's probably a political thing.
maybe I don't see where. I think he's just
Why would
trying.
he have an interview with somebody he knows, or why would he? I mean, this guy is summoned, right?
Yeah.
So why would he do that without knowing the answers to those questions?
I'm sure he does. I think he's just trying to
It's worth it if
find
he says
something.
yes to those questions.
If he says any of those, yes, it's a suicide at that point.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it seems weird.
All right, let's get back to this video. Can you are you able to hear it now?
I believe we've
See,
reached a
I can play it
very
on my end.
substantial framework that will avoid that and allow us to discuss
I can read the
many
subtitles, it's
other
fine.
things with the Chinese. I think we will be able to discuss them helping us get this terrible fentanyl crisis under control. I think we are going to be able to discuss substantial soybean and ag purchases for our American farmers.
After a long flight to Kuala Lumpur this weekend, President Trump felt like dancing to the music played for him at an arrival ceremony. And this is why he said just leaving Malaysia, a great and very vibrant country, signed major trade and rare earth deals. And yesterday, most importantly, signed the peace treaty between Thailand and Cambodia. No war. Millions of lives saved. Such an honor to have gotten this done. Tomorrow, the president's going to meet for the first time with the drum-playing, former TV show hosting Japanese.
Was that just signed, that peace deal, like when he went there?
That was so. Yes, yeah, because I think he went to he went to Malaysia, and then now or whatever this video was made, he arrived in Japan.
Local reports are that she's going to gift him a golf club
Yeah,
used
bro,
by the late
this is
Shinzo Abe and a gold leaf golf ball. And this all adds to a very exciting week here in Japan, where millions of people have been waking up early to watch Shohei Ohtani, Japan's own Shohei Ohtani, in the World Series games before school and before work. So there's a lot going on here in Tokyo. Back to you guys.
Absolutely. It seems like they're establishing good relations. Peter, in terms of who's with the president, is it true that Secretary of State Marco Rubio still can't get into China because I think they banned him?
It seems like there is some complication with his travel, but that is something that President Trump would be able to work out.
They banned Marco Rubio?
With Xi.
I don't know, but
it seems like for this.
yeah, but I'm also unaware of Marco or the Trump administration going to China though. I thought they're going to South Korea and meeting Xi there. So I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, ban would be fine, but unless Marco was planning on going to China.
If you think about it, China's set up a really good system to where they won't allow so much outer influence. So it's almost like it's a restriction on information, but it's almost a good thing for their country because I kind of like the idea of, I kind of like the nationalist idea.
They're very, very isolated. Maybe not isolated, but
they're pretty isolated.
Controlled,
I mean,
pretty controlled.
Controlled and somewhat isolated as well because they don't have a lot of entry. I mean, there's like 6 ports. I think I mentioned this the other day. There's like 6 ports that can be accessed through trade, and that was a recent thing done because initially they only had 1 port access, but because of contentions with, I think it was Britain, that they opened up more. But they're really trying to lock it down thing. There's almost something admirable about it because they're looking in the best interest of their citizens. But I don't know if because they have 1 billion people, it might be okay. But I don't think it would work in the United States because the lack of such population.
Yeah,
think they're pretty dependent on their big population, but somewhat they're overwhelmed by it as well.
I think the economy, I mean, obviously the economy needs to find a method to support. I think that, I in no shape or form that I think that the American taxpayer dollars are going to where they should be going. It's an improvement over the past administration. But for an example, I don't think we should be spending billions and trillions of dollars on climate change. But that's just my personal opinion,
Yeah.
as well as sending, money to some organization in Africa that we have no association with.
Oh yeah,
Um,
dude, Africa. Yeah,
if if
Africa's a
if it's
Africa. It
humanitarian
just sucks
aid,
for it sucks for Africa.
it's
Because here's what the United States did in the 1950s. They they went over to Africa and they're like, wow, these people are pretty underdeveloped. Or was it 1850s, 1950s? It was probably 1950s, but they looked into Africa and they're like, this place is underdeveloped. We got to send
it's still
humanitarian aid. We got to
undeveloped.
give them all. Yeah, well, yeah, it's still undeveloped, but initially we're like, we got to give them aid. We got to help them develop, but we were just giving them free stuff. They're like, thank you for the free stuff. Keep giving us free stuff. So now, not only have they not developed their economy, but they're also dependent on the US to continue to survive because they lack the skills to create a sustainable economy within their country. It's I think it's very bad. I mean, it's a good. I mean,
It
it's a
depends. It depends on which country. I mean, there's obviously several countries I mean, if you're talking about like South Africa and like, South Africa is probably very well developed, but
Yeah.
if you're talking about like Somalia, Sudan, those places, I mean, those are usually active war zone regions.
Right.
But
holistically,
you're talking about one step forward, two step backwards. At that, so you can never play catch up with
Yeah.
even with however much United States aid coming into the country. But I also think that you know if you think of the big three influences in the world, and you
China,
think of
Russia, US.
China, Russia, US, and you think of I wouldn't say Britain. I think the Britain
But
is
in back then, not now, but
not now. No,
yeah,
Britain back then
okay.
was massive influence
Yeah, that's what I'm
until
saying.
the better US came out of it. But
Yeah.
I think today, I think that every one of those three major countries is trying its hardest to gain a slice of Africa, whether it's economic, whether it's military installation, alliances, whatever it can be. I do know that I know the US has involvement there. I know China has involvement. I know Russia has involvement in Africa. So Africa's a little bit tricky when it comes to
They're kind of like they're kind of a guinea pig.
They are the guinea pig of.
It sucks because they were so far behind in development, industrial development, but now they're dependent and controlled. I mean,
it's not bad, but it's not bad though, because now you have all these three major countries
it's bad because
going in.
They're not productive. They don't produce. They're dependent.
I think it's less bad.
It's like a long-term investment.
Yeah, it is, but I almost feel like you're selling identity you're selling your like national identity to appease these bigger countries, right? You're willing to wipe out, historical areas and tribes and whatnot for, I don't know, military installations, for research purposes, and whatever else, and for cities. I mean, I can't imagine high risers and skyscrapers in the middle of Somalia. I just don't.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
and
Yeah.
not that they're significant, not that they're in a war zone. It's just I just don't see the country ever at a point, ever at a technological point to implement that without, the US
Yeah.
engineers being there, the Chinese engineers being there, and whatnot.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's going to take some time. We'll see if it works in the long run, but as far as we right now, it's been a very bad experiment for Africa and the United States because we're having the US dollars go to uplifting another country,
Yeah.
which, is good it's good on a humanitarian level, but at what point is there too much humanitarian aid to where it affects the US economy and puts some of the citizens within the country at risk? Especially, I mean, we look at the housing prices. I mean, I just don't like where we've been trending.
There's always the when it comes to like money wise, there's always
Mhm.
the Americans can always use the extra dollar. However, when this is
The
one,
extra dollar, but we're $38 trillion in debt with a $1 trillion interest rate.
I mean,
At what
that's
point do we keep letting it grow and let it blow up, and then
would let a default. Yeah, I, th I don't know. You're gonna have to ask the next 100 U.S.
yeah,
president to answer that. I think
the
there
next
was
100? I think we got it coming in a few.
I don't yeah maybe. I mean
I mean,
how
$38 trillion. I mean, if China keeps continuing to escalate their economy, uplift their economy, and keep getting bigger, I'm not, I hate to be pessimistic, but I'm not too optimistic on the US standing right now if we continue to make these lackluster investments into these foreign nations.
Yep, see that
Afghanistan, Africa.
Ukraine.
We're even we're
I would put Ukraine.
overextending in China. Ukraine, Ukraine is, yeah. I mean, any aid right now is bad aid. So for
Any
the U.S.
aid,
people,
it's
it's good
true.
humanitarianly, but
I think it comes
realistically,
down
the
to
U.S. people, well, I mean, we voted for this, so
we did vote for this, but
yeah,
I
not
mean
me, but we collectively.
you always come back to this argument on why we don't have free education, why the US doesn't
Mhm,
have free healthcare, is
mhm.
because a majority of our GDP goes towards defense spending.
Yeah, military.
That's
Mhm.
obviously debatable depending on what you think of.
Defense spending also is uplifting. Defense spending is semi decent though because the military kind of get careers off of it.
They get careers off of it. However,
Mhm.
I do if there is one thing that I can pick on the defense spending is we're paying out of pocket for these massive contractors that
Yeah, yeah, no, the foreign aid spending that is kind of this circular,
yeah,
this boomerang effect back
ecosystem.
up to them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that part's not good. I'm not sure what part of how much of the budget goes towards military personnel, like on the lower level compared to on the higher level where we
I
have
think the
foreign
lower
aid for.
level is probably just with I mean depends on
Seems like it would be the majority of it, but I could be wrong.
I don't know too much about
Yeah.
the dissections of spending when it comes to like
Mhm.
Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, these
Oh, no, no,
bigger
no. That's
contractors.
yeah, that's bad aid.
Yeah, so
Well,
that
I would put it as bad aid, because
yeah,
not only are we funding the money up, we're we're uh we're
it,
sending
it
money to different countries.
it's not even
We're
that though, because
there's no
they do
return on. I hate to
produce.
look at it like this. There's no return on investment. We get to I don't know if we even save lives
Well, you do
by
know that
escalating.
these companies don't send the military equipment without the U.S. stamp of approval. Even
Mhm.
if Boeing decides to send, I don't know, I forget what aircraft they send, but let's say, General Dynamics, send F-16s over to Ukraine, they can't without the U.S. approval.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, the government is in charge of these contractors, these massive defense companies. But
Mhm.
I think that so my point is that we're overpaying these contractors
Oh yeah, they're too much
for their
profit
service,
margin.
with way
Yeah,
too much profit margin.
yeah.
That's where
I
I
see what you're saying. Yeah,
disagree
yeah, yeah.
with. I mean, we're
So you're
talking
okay
about
with the aid,
big,
but uh,
the,
the amount of profit from him is
correct,
like
correct,
they
correct.
shouldn't.
Because the aid eventually comes back to the companies
Uh-huh.
to profit. However, the contractor, like the award contract, you have, for example, you have 5 different companies competing for the next generation aircraft,
Yeah.
and Boeing wins the contract for, I don't know, 100 billion or something.
Yeah,
At at that point, I think that's an overture.
long-term relations with the US government, that's why.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That so
You
at
think
that
it's
point,
unfair market,
I think it's extremely unfair.
unfair
Profit.
competition? They're just
It's not
yeah, they're not even looking.
competition. It's the these
Oh,
technology that we can create, because at the end of the day, we are the people. The Americans are the ones that benefits from it. You know, unless the U.S. government deems it otherwise.
Mm.
But at that point, it can be sent out directly from the manufacturing defense companies. But I understand that they need to make sun money, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't these companies don't need to be racking billions on certain
Right.
projects. So
Yeah, it's so hard because it's almost as if the government doesn't have enough leverage. It almost sounds as
yeah,
if the
mhm.
government doesn't have enough leverage because of their dependency and the brand that Boeing's been able to build with their reliability. So it's like you want
Yeah, I don't know about
you
that
would want to go
anymore.
with. Oh yeah, yeah. Recently, it's been pretty bad. I've seen, but originally, Boeing was a good company, and they had
Still
very
is.
yeah, it still is too. Yeah, but it's hard to balance it. I mean, we should have some reforms there, of course. It's I understand how it's hard though. Lever being at an unleveraged position is really difficult, and I kind of need to read into it how you got to just kind of leverage yourself
Yeah, yeah,
without because there's so much restrictions on the government too for good for for good or for bad um, that kind of limit them in their ability to leverage their authority.
yeah. Let's take a look at the spending. Does it have a pie chart?
And people are like, free economics. It'll all just work out. Like I don't think I believe in this.
I want to see if we can get a quick graph of how much we spend. So so year 2024, roughly 7 trillion.
7 trillion dollars.
That's
Okay.
a
How much?
good chunk.
How much do we collect?
Well, so first of all, net interest is, so 1 trillion is gone off of that.
Mm.
So you have non-defense discretionary. I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Medicaid, that's 20% on Medicaid and Medicare. That's
Mm.
crazy. And then you have 13% on defense discretionary. I believe that this including that might be, that's what, 25%, so that might even be like 1 trillion, 1.5 trillion.
What is defense discretionary?
Let's see if I can find that. This one right here, defense and non-defense. Yeah, about, oh no, that's only 1.8 billion. Weird. Mandatory spending. Here's Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah, we're so, our economy is built is it a consumer economy, which ultimately makes them dependent on
Hmm.
Social Security. I think we need to shift the perspectives of the people to be less dependent on the government and more productive. I'm like, I say that, but like, no, I do that individually with my money, but then again, there's obviously shortcomings within myself that I look at that are similar to that.
Yeah.
But
What do you,
if we move some propaganda towards that way, and send some propaganda campaigns out, that'll help the country, be less dependent. But it's complicated.
here's a good picture. So here's the military spending, U.S. military spending compared to the rest of the world. What year is this?
We spend half of the global budget.
Yeah, so the US spends more on its military than the rest of the top 10 combined. That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's something there. There's something there, I don't know what we're doing with it.
I mean, okay,
We're funneling it.
We're funneling it somehow. I mean, even Russia isn't even in the
Is this
100
a
billion.
great United States conspiracy, or is it just a fact that we just funnel money upwards?
You want to know a conspiracy? Speaking of money,
Uh-huh.
around 9/11, I don't know if you heard this, but $2 trillion disappeared. I'll just leave it at that. So
$2 trillion disappeared?
yeah,
$2 trillion disappeared?
$2 trillion disappeared around 9/11.
What do you mean true? Educate me a little.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can go down the rabbit hole and do your own research, but $2 trillion disappeared.
Wait, what does that mean?
That means somebody got a payday.
Someone got a big payday?
Big payday for
You mean
whatever
like
did
immediately,
happen.
or you mean like expenditure in the Middle East?
No, immediately.
Interesting.
Immediately.
To who? I'll just do a quick Google search.
Your guess is just as good as mine.
They're saying no, this didn't happen. No, I'm kidding. Wait, the notion that $2 trillion $2.3 trillion went missing from the Pentagon on 9/11 is a widespread conspiracy theory based on. I knew that the freaking AI, the Google AI. Would
of course,
say
it's got to say conspiracy.
Gay
But...
Google AI.
I'm not saying it's true. It's just
do your own research.
It's called a conspiracy for a reason. Hey, it's what they say, right? Track the money. When there's shady business, track the money.
It was an accounting error. It seems like it's not a lie though.
How do you have an accounting?
How do you have a $2 trillion accounting error?
$2 trillion accounting error. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So whatever your thoughts on that, but anyways, going back to the video.
The key point, people, are it's not going to be Secretary Rubio, who is, of course,
I'm going to get going after this video.
But it is Jamieson Greer, the trade representative, and Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, because those are the ones who have been working their counterparts for days with intense
Marco Rubio, top diplomat.
The leader level meeting. As we understand it,
I like Marco. I actually like Marco. I think he's all right.
I haven't looked at him. He seems weird though.
What I actually don't like. I shouldn't say I don't like, but I'm indifferent of Pete Hegseth. I think there could be maybe a better Secretary of Defense representative, but he wasn't. Yeah, I don't know about him.
Yeah, former military personnel, TV host though. It seems kind of weird that he would get there. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, how do you go from a TV host to Secretary of Defense?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know the parallel there, but
the lower level negotiators, the cabinet level negotiators, were not really close to a deal that would level the playing field for the economy. Basically, if President Trump...
Oh, here's a question that I wanted to ask regarding like rare earth minerals. If the U.S. uses rare earth minerals for for aircraft building or weapons purposes, isn't a smart idea for China to withhold those rare earth minerals?
If they use it for defense spending
Well, we all know
or
that
defense.
that the U.S. does use it for military purposes.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't it be smart for China to withhold those rare earth minerals?
Yeah, I mean, if they use it for that, yeah.
That's all. Just a quick
Throw a
question.
wrench in there.
That Xi and China are going to stop ripping the U.S. off, among others, elsewhere in the world.
But I do agree with you, and I acknowledge that the Chinese are notorious for intellectual property theft. Copy whatever is the newest and greatest, and then make it the Chinese special. Put a lot of soy sauce on it. And I think you can say that with just about anything. Military equipment, tech platforms, everything in between.
Economy as well, but especially the U.S.
Yeah.
If they were not really, really close to a good deal for the U.S., President Trump would be going home.
Peter, when we play that video of President Trump dance,
is the U.S. at a loss or not? I guess for being blocked out of rare earth minerals. How significant is it compared to, like, I don't know, because I feel like at this point now, President Trump is scraping bottom of the barrel, signing rare earth minerals with Cambodia, with Thailand, literally because he got locked out of locked out of China.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, don't we have more rare earth minerals here in the United States?
I actually don't know that, but
I did do a search. I mean, we have more valuable ones, but or more overall, but I don't know if they're the rare ones. We have more natural resource here,
sure,
but
yeah.
I'm not sure if they're what we need for some of these things we need to develop.
See if there's anything else significant here. They're talking about Biden looking like a clown in front of these guys.
I mean, the fact that we're able to have someone like Biden in our ministry just tells you how weird the system is.
Dude, I don't even want to get into him. Okay.
Dude,
I'm disappointed.
Did you vote for him?
Never. No.
Come here.
Message dealing with leverage. Immediately, the president.
No, I'm disappointed in the fact that his administration was practically ran by the people around him in the auto pen versus him versus Biden making his own decision. But that guy, dude,
I don't think he made 90%. I don't think he
90% of the time he doesn't even know where he was.
Doesn't that make you question how much well, the thing is Trump's moving the freaking moving the nail forward quite a bit. So
yeah.
I mean, he's going to all these countries. He's in these negotiations with these foreign diplomats.
He's the one talking, right.
Yeah, so it seems, I mean, although someone's got to have that. Someone has to have that unrelenting. You got to keep to your perspective and not worry about, because you can basically rationalize any position fairly easily if you just continue to push them down, because people don't want to reduct, because everything in arguments come down to reductivism. Like you just reduce it. You keep reducing the value.
Reductive reasoning.
Yeah, it's reductive reasoning. You keep reducing the value. I mean, you got to have people. Biden there's no way this guy was in any negotiations with any country on other than just high level. And I don't mean high level. I mean Well, actually, it would be I guess in real, I'm talking about coding, but I guess it would be low-level conversations that are just surface level. There's not much. I guarantee there's nothing
I
past
think
him. He's having other people do the
I think yeah,
negotiations for him.
I think that 100%. I think he's just get told the clip notes
Mhm.
after after the meetings with, I mean, and probably meeting with these leaders for media sake to make it, you know, to make it look like he was the one
Yeah.
engaged. I mean, obviously you have to do that or you would self-destruct at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think with any decision he made it. I mean, he had a 90%, he had a script to read from. 95%, he had a
Yeah.
script to read from. And he
Just signing bills, man.
couldn't even do he couldn't even do that. He couldn't even read from a script either.
Yeah.
Walking off. Yeah, I won't go into him, but I mean, we got
Yeah.
potentially we got Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris running for 2028. What do you think the
Both of them
likely?
are confirmed.
No. They're just discussing it, but I know that
Oh, I think they're.
Kamala isn't done, so she might try to run again here in the future.
I mean, at least Gavin Newsom speaks with some influence and has like a background. Kamala Harris, I mean, don't get me wrong, Gavin Newsom is a complete clown, but Kamala Harris, I mean, I don't. She speaks with such
tell me one thing she
over
did.
empathy and.
Tell me one thing she
I mean, I
did.
think she was a senator. I think she also did something in law, or I have no idea. But
She's a prosecutor. Yeah, something
yeah,
like
she's
that.
a prosecutor and something. And like even, I mean, even if you ask liberals, they're not too fond of her background because she's like in a position where she was prosecuting minorities. I think I'm not sure. Allegedly, you know, I'd have to go into that story. I'm not too well informed on that, but it's her story is interesting, and I think she did good in the last presidential debate, like the one where she really trained and knew all the scripts really good. But other than that, she doesn't.
Maybe
I wouldn't want her values are completely.
Well, I don't think it's value though.
Adversary to mine.
It's like priority and what she represents as well.
Yeah, no, that's I mean I find that's fairly synonymous, but values, people what people believe in, you know, and what you know, I don't like what she represents.
No,
what
because
she
she represents the minorities, and I mean you can be, you know, obviously you can be conservatism or conservative versus liberals, but you can still have a sense of association. You know, her being what is she, Indian, or I forgot what her ethnicity is.
Yeah, apparently she's Indian black.
Some Indian black.
I mean,
and she
it's
can,
kind of irrelevant to me what your skin color is, but
or she's gonna use
gender
like,
seems
I
more
can
relevant
feel,
to me.
or that too,
Yeah.
or because she's a woman, she can therefore associate, or a mom, or a minority. I mean, it is important. I think that, I mean, obviously it didn't win her any brownie points for the
Yeah.
immigration when it comes to her being minority, but
Yeah, I mean they just pander to a majority minority group, so the minorities kind of get together and they get a majority, and it's like, and none of them are educated, unfortunately, or a lot of them aren't.
all right,
Because a lot of them aren't.
last question. Who do you
But-
think is going to run for presidential 2028?
Oh, Vance is gonna run.
Follow-up question. Trump third term?
Probably not.
Okay. Vance and
Because that just opens the door for some of these other older presidents to get back on the saddle. And I'm like,
Obama coming
do I want
back?
another Obama term? Fuck no. With his with what he did in Afghanistan, or keep and didn't pull out. I don't know. Yeah, no. Yeah, I hope. I mean, I don't want him to, because if you think a little bit past him having just a third term, I don't want some of these other guys coming back. And they might be able to get the influence because they have the former presidency to be able to come back. So that's another reason.
Because it was success. successful. So
Yeah.
they're gonna take Trump's third term advantage for their own benefits.
Yeah, I mean, if Trump's going to run a third term, we'll see Obama in the Democratic nominees.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
I
maybe
don't,
done, but I mean,
I
he's
don't know.
building a multi-billion-dollar library allegedly.
I heard
Have you
about
seen this
that too.
library?
I've heard about that.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's a billion. It might be. How
No,
much is this?
I think it's like 400 billion or 400 million. Sorry.
Yeah,
I think that was the
which
discussion.
is completely disgusting.
So that's the newer talking point. They're comparing his library to Trump's ballroom, but Trump's
Yeah,
ballroom
but
is from donors,
funded by
so
private
completely different.
investors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, who's funding Obama's library? Is that the U.S.? We are, right?
I don't know about the
Wait, let me see.
library
Let me
part.
look. Let me just be fair to Obama. Who? Obama taxpayer taxpayer money. Yeah, but he does have individuals. All right. I think we'll probably call it there. Yeah.
I don't even know how much money his personal worth is. I mean, obviously Trump, he can afford you know, a ballroom if he wants to pay for it, with his own money. So I
Yeah.
don't.
What do you think about the ballroom?
I do think that we need a nice place for leaders meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about it being 300 billion or 300 million. So
300 million to build a ballroom? That seems pretty expensive, doesn't it?
hey, that's all I'm gonna say, man.
Is it really 300 billion to build a ballroom?
300 million M.
Sorry, million. Yeah, 300 million to build just a ballroom?
But
Is that accurate?
look it up. Look it up. It's very accurate.
No, I agree, but does that? I mean, is he just not overpaying for it, or is he just getting golden structures in there, or what the heck's going on in there?
I don't know. Did
I
you
mean,
know
in
what they
theory,
named? Do you know what they named it to?
What?
Well, I'll give you one wild guess.
Oh, Trump ballroom. I don't know.
Donald J. Trump ballroom.
Yeah, makes sense.
Original.
Yeah,
So original.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
No,
yeah.
I think that's the only thing that I mean, I agree that we do need, we shouldn't have like, presidents walking in tents and not really have a place for a gathering. So I do think that there should be a place for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know about